What's up, Taiwan? Good evening. I'm Ethan Liu with 10 minutes of news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Taiwan's military heightened its combat readiness on Tuesday as the country prepared for a potential visit by U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. The Defense Ministry deployed extra Mirage 2000 fighter jets to the country's east coast, and the Navy sent ships to monitor the waters around Taiwan. The military has also raised its official combat readiness status to the first tier of its two-tier system that's expected to last until noon on Thursday. The possibility of a visit by Pelosi has ratcheted up tension in the Taiwan Strait, with China issuing vague threats against Taiwan and the United States. Beijing sees democratically governed Taiwan as part of its territory and has threatened to take it by force. For more on the controversy surrounding the prospect of Pelosi's visit to Taiwan, our reporter Ryan Kilpatrick spoke with historian Albert Wu from Academia Sinica.
A lot of this debate and alarm in the United States has been prompted by China's belligerent language, but it's also the same language we've heard directed towards Taiwan regularly over the years. You have pointed to what some call a sigh and shrug response from much of the Taiwanese public to these threats. What do you think is behind this? Is it blindness, is it fatalism, is it cool-headed realism, or something else?
My sense is that it's a sort of clear-eyed recognition that there's actually not much that Taiwan can do in this moment, other than sort of what the Tsai administration is doing, which is to sort of wait and see. I think what most people in the U.S. or most of our friends abroad don't understand is that this is sort of the constant background noise. People in Taiwan would be ecstatic if Nancy Pelosi came, but we also recognize that if the visit fell through, then that's just how things go when it comes to Taiwan's sort of limited options within the international sphere. The Taiwanese can't force Pelosi to come or prevent Pelosi from coming, nor can they, prevent China from making belligerent claims. There's certainly certain people who would take a more fatalistic attitude, I think, but I think for the majority of people, it's sort of a recognition of where Taiwan is, an understanding of where it's placed in the world, and in a way that life goes on here.
China has banned imports of products made by more than 100 Taiwanese food and agriculture companies. The targeted companies include several of Taiwan's most popular brands. Beijing announced the ban late Monday on the eve of Nancy Pelosi's expected visit. It is the latest in the line of Chinese bans on Taiwanese food products, including pineapples, wax apples, sugar apples, and grouper fish. People in Taiwan are starting to travel more as the country loosens its COVID-19 travel restrictions. Insurance companies, however, are making it harder for travelers who want to head abroad. Bing Wang explains.
As countries start welcoming visitors from around the world, Taiwanese people are jumping on the opportunity to travel again. According to Taiwan's main international airports, 150,000 people traveled overseas last month. That's 100,000 more people than in July last year. But travelers are facing a new risk, a lack of insurance options.
保险业者呢都取消了旅行平安保险、海外的这种突发急险医疗保单、旅行业契约责任保险里面的旅行不便，目前还是被保险公司在取消的阶段。
That means there's no way for travelers to cover the costs if they get sick in a foreign country. At least 15 of Taiwan's largest travel insurance companies have stopped selling insurance that covers sudden illness, which includes COVID-19. Apart from the risk posed to travelers, it also means that it's now practically impossible to travel to countries which require COVID coverage. Insurance brokers have said that insurers are losing money.
因为疫情的关系嘛，所以民众呢很多都有买防疫险，对不对？那因为在防疫险的理赔上，大部分的保险公司都超出了这个可以负荷的范围。但是因为在国外的部分还是有很多比较难掌控的趋势，所以它会影响保险公司对于危险的估计。
People are saying that a lack of insurance options mean they'd rather not travel at all.
如果因为没有医疗保障的话，可能现在变种病毒那么多，可能就是不会出国。
After almost 3 years of the COVID-19 pandemic and with Taiwan loosening its quarantine restrictions, there's concern this decision by insurance companies could damage the tourism industry just as it starts to recover. Kama Xu and Bing Wang for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan's Railway Workers Union has passed the motion to strike on a number of major travel days in the coming months. The union says its members will not work during local elections in November, a time when many people will travel to their hometowns to vote. They also are refusing to work overtime for the Mid-Autumn Festival in September and National Day in October. The Taiwan Railways administration failed last week to reach a deal with the union on salaries and benefits as the government agency transitions to a state-owned company. Taiwan celebrated its National Indigenous Peoples Day on Monday. In the southern county of Pingdong, the Taiwan people, the country's second largest indigenous group, convened their first National Assembly. Rick Laward reports.
Members of the Taiwan National Assembly take their oath of office in a small rural village in southern Taiwan. They hope this newly established legislature, made up of representatives from the Taiwan Indigenous group in villages and communities across southern Taiwan, can give them more power and control over their own affairs.
I think it's like to get together all the powers, all the voices from the different Taiwan communities to get together, and then we have like a we have the platform to talk to each other, and then the Taiwan parliaments, they have their own board organization, board team, so they can bring our voices, even the little voices from the community, to the world or to the Taiwanese government.
Taiwan is home to 600,000 indigenous people. For centuries, they were mistreated, their lands taken away, and their culture and language repressed. After current President Tsai Ing-wen was elected in 2016, she issued an apology to indigenous people and passed a law protecting and promoting indigenous rights. Taiwan, of which there are about 100,000, is the second largest indigenous group in the nation. This is the first time Taiwan people have had their own formal legislative body, and is expected to be the largest indigenous assembly in the country. The people elected here will discuss matters concerning the community, such as land, the local economy, and protecting Taiwan customs and languages. But they also have a bigger mission: to encourage the government to recognize indigenous people as the rightful owners of Taiwan and grant them greater autonomy.
我们成立民族议会第一个最主要就是我们民族的地位要重新再确立。我们是台湾的主人，如果说包括外来的民族的话，我们也是长子，那我们必须要存在的地位跟实质的价值。那既然要有存在的地位，我们必须要走向民主自治的一个政治行政体系。
The original inhabitants of Taiwan have for years been treated like second-class citizens in their own homeland. But with the convening of this assembly, they hope one day to meet Taiwan's government on an equal footing. James Rayner and Rick Lowett in Pingdong County for TaiwanPlus.
Iguanas have been discovered naturally reproducing in Ecuador's Galapagos Islands for the first time in more than a century. Galapagos National Park said scientists and rangers have found the offspring of more than 3,000 iguanas that were reintroduced to San Diego Island in 2019. The return of the species to the islands means these animals can once again play their important role in the ecosystem. Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Remember to download the TaiwanPlus app for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, today we leave you with images of a virtual singer known as Polar, who has 1.6 million followers on TikTok. The digital team behind the phenomenon is hoping to bring her to perform at real concerts in the physical world. I'm Ethan Liu, take care, and I'll see you next time.